Tonight, we return to 1805, where two slave girls were bought for $1 and dragged into a plantation where the dead still whisper through the fields. Before we open the door to what hunted them, hit that subscribe button and tell me where in the world you're watching from. Now brace yourself. The darkness remembers. In the year 1805, in a humid corner of Louisiana, the world smelled of molasses, mud, and misery. The morning sun rose thick and heavy over the slave market, painting the sky in the color of bruised peaches. Crows gathered on railings like black punctuation marks, waiting to feast on whatever scraps cruelty might leave behind. Two girls, Amara, aged 15, and Nia, aged 14, stood together on the wooden platform, barefooted, dusty, and trembling. Their wrists were tied with coarse rope that left angry red grooves on their skin. The crowd before them murmured, their voices oily with appetite. A man with a white beard, and a hat too, large for his head, slapped Amara's shoulder, forcing her to turn toward the buyers. "Strong back," he announced. And the other one, quiet, obedient. Both for $1, if taken together. A ripple of laughter rose from the crowd. $1. Even livestock cost more. Nia lowered her head, swallowing the tight ball of shame rising in her throat. Amara squeezed her hand discreetly, as much comfort as the rope would allow. They had no family left, only each other. The bidding began. Though bidding was generous, hardly anyone wanted girls so young who carried no visible scars of labor. They were not yet broken in. They required time, training, discipline. But one man in the rear, a tall man with shoulders like stacked timber, raised his hand without lifting his gaze. His face was obscured by the brim of his hat. $1, he said. His voice was cold, flat, mechanical. The auctioneer blinked. Even he seemed unsettled. "S sold," he stammered. That was the beginning of everything. The girls were dragged off the platform, their feet scraping dirt, the murmurs of the crowd dissolving into the oppressive heat. The man approached them slowly, his boots sinking slightly into the soft ground. When he lifted his head, the girls saw his eyes gray as wet ash. No warmth, no humanity. Just vacancy, like a door cracked open to a room without walls. "I am Master Corbin," he said. "You will address me when spoken to, you will work when commanded, and you will not wander." His gaze sharpened, almost curiously. There are things in the fields that do not tolerate wandering. A chill passed through Amara and Nia simultaneously, as though a shadow had brushed their spines. But neither dared to ask him what he meant. They only followed. For they had been bought, and the price of their existence had been set at a single, cursed $1. Corbin led them to a wagon drawn by two skeletal horses whose ribs protruded like wooden slats. The girls climbed into the back, where a thin burlap cloth covered crates of seed corn and a rusted harvesting blade. The blade was crusted with something too dark to be rust. As the wagon lurched forward, the girls kept close, shoulders touching. The road was long and silent, bordered by swamp water reflecting the sky like a cracked mirror. Every few miles, they passed remnants of old farm structures rotted down to their bones, windows shattered, roofs sagging inward. The land smelled sour, like wet decay, as though the soil itself was dying from secrets left buried too long. After several hours, a chorus of insects rose in the distance, so loud it felt unnatural. A place where sound swelled instead of drifting. Nia leaned closer to Amara. "Where do you think he's taking us?" "I don't know," Amara whispered. "But I know we must stay together." The wagon turned down a narrower path, flanked by ancient trees draped in thick Spanish moss. The Secantelides trunks were wide and twisted as if shaped by suffering. The deeper they traveled, the darker the world became, branches arching overhead like a cavern ceiling. At last, the estate revealed itself. A plantation, but long abandoned by prosperity. The main house was tall, but the shutters hung crooked, and the porch sagged like tired lungs. Behind it stretched acres of sugarcane swaying in a wind the girls could not feel. A strange stillness pressed against their skin like being watched by something too patient to blink. Corbin stepped off the wagon. "Down," he ordered. They obeyed. As they followed him toward the house, Nia glanced sideways at the sugarcane. For a moment, just a brief flicker, she saw movement deeper in the rows. A tall figure, not Corbin, not human. Something elongated, its limbs unnaturally thin, standing perfectly still among the cane. When she blinked, it was gone. She said nothing. Fear, she knew, often grew stronger when spoken aloud. Inside, the house smelled of damp wood and iron. The walls bore stains that looked too deliberate to be accidents. Corbin led them through a hallway where the floorboards complained under every step. "You will sleep upstairs," he said, pointing to a narrow staircase. "You will rise before dawn. You will harvest. You will avoid the western field. And you will never step outside after sunset." Amara frowned. "Why not, sir?" Corbin's eyes slid toward her with a slowness that made her stomach hollow. "Because the night listens," he replied, "and it does not like disobedience." Then he vanished into a side room, the door shutting with a soft but final click. The girls stood frozen in the hall. Finally, Nia whispered, "Do you think he's mad?" Amara answered, "I think this place is wrong." They climbed the stairs cautiously. The corridor upstairs was narrow, lined with doors scratched from the inside deep grooves, too numerous to be coincidence. Their room held 2 small cots, a single cracked window, and a wardrobe leaning against the wall like it was trying to hide from something. Outside, the sun dipped lower, and the cane fields began to whisper. By dusk, the sky bled violet and rust. Corbin's footsteps echoed below, then faded entirely. The house felt abandoned, yet something inside it breathed. Amara sat on the cot, hugging her knees. "We need to plan," she whispered. "Look for a way out." "Tonight?" Nia exhaled shakily. "He said not to go out after dark." "He also bought us for $1, Amara said quietly. "A man like that does not plan to keep us alive for long." Before Nia could reply, they heard it. A soft scraping at the window. Slow, deliberate, like nails dragging across glass. Nia's breath caught. The window was curtained by grime, but a faint silhouette moved behind it. Too tall, too thin, head tilted at an inhuman angle. "What is that?" Nia whispered. Amara shook her head, unable to speak. The scraping stopped. Then something whispered through the glass, a voice like leaves rotting under water. Nia clapped her hand over her mouth. Amara grabbed her wrist. They stayed silent. After a moment, the silhouette dissolved, melting into the dark. Shaking, Amara crawled to the window, wiping a small clear patch with her sleeve. The fields were shifting not from wind, but from movement. Cane stalks trembled, parted, and closed again, as though something massive was weaving through them beneath the surface. The whispering grew again, voices layered over one another, hundreds of them, moaning like the dead learning to speak. Nia sank to the floor, trembling. Amara, this place is alive. Amara nodded slowly, her eyes fixed on the fields. No, she whispered. Something in the fields is alive, and it wants us. Before dawn, Corbin's bell clanged through the house, harsh, metallic, discordant. The girls scrambled downstairs, exhausted and hollow-eyed. Corbin stood by the back door, holding 2 woven baskets. The morning sky was pale and trembling, like light struggling to survive. You will begin in the northern field, Corbin said without turning to them. You will not step beyond the old well, and if you hear the bell again, run, no matter what. Nia frowned. Who rings the bell besides you? Corbin paused. His answer came too slowly. No one, he murmured. He handed them the baskets and unlocked the back door. A wave of hot air swept through, carrying the scent of cane and something coppery. Blood? Amara grabbed Nia's hand. Stay close. They stepped outside. The cane rose above them like cathedral pillars, red-tipped and trembling. Every few minutes, the stalk swayed without wind, as though brushed by unseen hands. For hours they worked, cutting and hauling cane into the baskets. Sweat soaked their worn clothes. The sun climbed higher, but its warmth never reached the ground. It was as if the field devoured light. At midday, Nia paused and wiped her brow. I heard something. Amara froze. What? A voice. Behind me. Amara stiffened. What did it say? Nia swallowed. It said, "Help me." Before Amara could speak, a sound split the silence. Dong, 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 dong. A bell, deep and resonant, echoing from the western field. Corbin's warning pierced Amara's skull. If you hear the bell again, run. Amara grabbed Nia's arm. We need to go. But Nia was staring into the cane. Her eyes widened. There's someone waving. Amara turned and her blood went cold. In the distance, half hidden in the cane, a woman stood. Her dress was ragged, stained with dirt. Her hair hung in clumps. She lifted her arm weakly, as though begging. Help me, she whispered, voice trembling across the field. Nia took a step forward. Amara yanked her back. No, something's wrong. Another bell sounded closer, louder. The woman's face snapped upward, her neck stretched, her jaw unhinged. Her eyes turned black, bottomless voids. She shrieked a sound not made by anything born human. The cane behind her erupted with movement. Something enormous was coming. Amara didn't think she ran. Pulling Nia so hard the girl stumbled. The fields roared behind them, stalks snapping like bones. The bell clanged again. Not a warning, a signal, a summons. They sprinted through the cane, turning blindly, until the house came into view. Corbin stood at the doorway, shouting, "Move!" The girls reached the stairs as something slammed into the ground behind them, a heavy, wet thud that sent tremors through the earth. Corbin dragged them inside and slammed the door. Amara collapsed, gasping. What was that thing? Corbin locked all 3 bolts, breathing hard. Finally, he faced them. His expression was grim. You were not the first slaves. Bought for $1, he said. The fields have taken many, but they reject the worthless. They want the ones who can hear them. Nia shivered violently. Hear what? Corbin stepped back slowly, his eyes shadowed. The dead. That night, Corbin lit an oil lamp and gestured for the girls to sit at the kitchen table. Rain hammered the roof. though the sky outside was still clear. "The land was cursed long before I was born," he began. "This plantation thrived on cruelty. Hundreds worked, these fields worked, until their bodies broke, until the earth drank their blood." His voice dropped lower. "The dead never left." Amara clenched her jaw. "What was the woman in the cane?" "A remnant," Corbin said. "One of the old spirits. They take shapes using memory. They lure the living into the fields because they need new voices." Nia whispered. "Voices for what?" Corbin's hand trembled around the lamp. "To keep the land alive." Thunder crashed overhead, though no lightning lit the sky. Amara leaned forward. "Why did you buy us? Why bring us here?" Corbin stared at her with hollow eyes. "You were cheap." A chill rippled down her spine. "But mostly," Corbin added, "because the fields have grown hungry. They have taken everything else from me. My workers, my wife, my daughter." Nia hesitated. "Your daughter? Is she the woman we saw?" Corbin shook his head. "No. My daughter died inside the house. The fields never touched her." He looked toward the stairs. "But she still walks." Amara and Nia exchanged horrified glances. Corbin stood abruptly. "Do not leave your room tonight. The dead are restless." Midnight crept into the house like a sickness. The air grew thick and wet. Amara and Nia lay under their thin blanket, their nerves frayed raw. Then Creake, a floorboard just outside their room, groaned. Nia clutched Amara's arm. A soft hum drifted through the bad hallway, a child's hum, sweet, off-key, repeating a simple melody. Something passed by the door, bare feet, small, slow. Amara slid silently off the cot and crept to the keyhole. One eye to the cold brass, she looked. A little girl stood in the hall. She wore a white nightgown soaked at the hem. Her hair clung to her face. Her feet were blackened with soil. In her hand, she held a doll missing one eye. Nia whispered shakily. Who is that?" Amara didn't answer, because the little girl suddenly turned as if she heard them through the door. Her head rotated too far, neck twisting with a soft crack. She walked closer, humming. Then she placed her eye against the keyhole. Amara jerked backward with a gasp. Nia pressed both hands over her mouth. The girl's voice floated through the door, faint and distant, as if coming from underground. "Do you want to play?" Silence. Then, "Can I come in?" The doorknob turned. Once, twice, shaking. Violently, Nia held the door with her full weight, though she knew it wouldn't help. The handle stilled. Slowly, softly, the child giggled. It was not a child's laugh. It was a woman's. A dead woman's. Footsteps drifted away. The humming faded. Nia collapsed to the floor, sobbing quietly. Amara wrapped her arms around her, but her own hands were shaking. "What do we do?" Nia whispered. "What do we do?" Amara didn't know. But she understood one thing. This house was their cage. The fields were their grave. At dawn, before Corbin rang the morning bell, Amara shook Nia awake. "We leave today." Nia swallowed hard. "Amara, we saw." "I don't care what we saw." Amara's voice cracked. "We can't stay here. Something will kill us. House or field, it doesn't matter. We run." They waited until Corbin went to the barn for tools. Then they darted out the front door, running toward the road. But the road was gone. In its place stood a wall of cane stretching higher than before, impossibly high, blocking every exit. Nia spun around, panic rising. It wasn't here yesterday. The cane rustled. A low moan trembled through the stalks. Amara grabbed Nia. Back to the house now. They sprinted toward the porch, but Corbin stepped out, blocking the doorway, his expression hollow. "I told you never to wander," he said quietly. "We're not staying here," Amara snapped. "You can't keep us." "I'm keeping you alive," Corbin hissed. "The land shifts when it wants blood. Today, it chose you." Behind them, the cane stirred violently. Something was forcing its way through. Corbin shoved the girls inside and slammed the door. But the sound that followed was worse than anything yet. A voice deep, ancient, and resonant echoed from the field. "Return the daughters." The house shuddered. Nia fell to her knees. Amara stared at the door, her heart crushing her ribs. "What are we?" she whispered. "Why do they want us?" Corbin closed his eyes. "They want what was stolen." Amara looked at him sharply. "Stolen? We were bought." Corbin turned slowly. "No," he whispered. "You were traded." The revelation shattered the world like glass. "Traded for what?" Amara demanded. Corbin hesitated, then pulled something from his pocket, a small pouch. Inside it jingled something metallic. Coins? No. Teeth. Human teeth. "These belong to the last pair," he said quietly. "Twins. Taken by the fields when they tried to flee." Nia recoiled in horror. Corbin continued, voice trembling. "When the spirits demand souls and they are not fed, they take the land instead. They rot it, twist it, and eventually the house falls too." He pointed to the walls, which pulsed faintly, as if alive. "My father bargained with the dead, offered 2 souls every 7 years. He thought it would save. He swallowed. He was wrong." Amara's skin crawled. "So you bought us for that?" Corbin nodded once. "But I don't want to give you to them," he whispered. Nia blinked through tears. "Then help us escape." "I can't," Corbin said, voice cracking. "The land won't let me leave either. It holds us all." The house vibrated again as the voice outside returned angrier now. "Return them." The walls groaned. The windows bowed inward. Corbin backed away, pale. "It's too late." Amara grabbed Nia's hand. "We run. Now." The front door exploded inward as cane stalks tore through the frame like spears. The dead poured into the doorway, twisted bodies, hollow faces, mouths open in silent screams. Amara and Nia fled up the stairs. Corbin shouted after them, but his voice was drowned by the shrieks of the dead. The house collapsed around them. The girls ran through the upper hallway, boards breaking under their feet. Shadows lashed at them. Cold hands clawed at their clothes. They reached the window at the far end. Amara smashed it with a broken chair leg. "Jump!" she cried. "But the field! Jump!" They leapt. The fall knocked the air from their lungs. But they forced themselves up, stumbling toward the tree line behind the house. The cane parted. A figure stepped out. Tall, elongated, limbs bending like old branches. Its face was a mask of stretched skin, no eyes, only a mouth that opened slowly. Inside were endless rows of teeth. Nia screamed. The creature stepped closer, but behind it, the entire field seemed to rise the dead moving as one, a sea of withered faces. Amara stood in front of Nia, arms spread. "We didn't choose this," she cried. "We owe you nothing." The creature tilted its head. The field moaned. Wind circled the girls, pulling their hair upward. The air grew cold as a grave. Nia clung to Amara, sobbing. Then a woman's voice rose from the field, soft, sad. "Daughters, finish what we could not." Amara froze. The dead were not here to eat them, they were here to claim them. They wanted vessels, voices, living bodies, to carry their vengeance. Amara whispered, "They want us to free them." Nia trembled. "But how?" The field answered. 1,000 whispers spoke as one. "Burn the land." Amara's breath shook. Burning a plantation could free the dead, but it could also kill them. Yet, what choice did they have? Behind them, the creature opened its mouth wider. Amara shouted, "We'll do it! We'll burn it! Just let us go!" The dead fell silent. Then slowly, the cane parted, forming a narrow path. A path leading back to the house. A path leading to fire. Amara grabbed Nia's hand. "We're not slaves anymore," she whispered. "We're survivors." They moved, together, past the creature, past the dead, past the fields that whispered their names, back into the broken remains of the house. Corbin lay pinned under wooden beams, blood pooling around him. He looked up at the girls with hollow resignation. You should have run," he whispered. Amara knelt beside him. "We're ending this." His eyes widened. "You don't know what the dead want. We know enough." Corbin's voice cracked. "It will kill everything." Amara stood. "Good." She found the oil lamps. One still burned faintly. Nia looked around the ruined kitchen and found a fallen torch. Amara dipped the torch into the oil. It ignited instantly. The house shuddered as if recognizing what was about to happen. The fields outside wailed long and sorrowful. The dead pressed their faces against the windows, watching, waiting. Amara took a deep breath. For all the souls lost here. She threw the torch into the parlor. Flames roared upward, swallowing the drapes, licking the ceiling. The girls ran outside as the house caught fire. Smoke coiling into the sky like black serpents. The cane rustled violently. The dead screamed. But beneath the agony was something new. Relief. The fire spread fast, too fast to be natural. Flames leapt from house to grass, from grass to cane, racing through the field like a beast freed from chains. Amara and Nia backed away, coughing, tears streaming down their faces. The field burned. The creatures fell. The dead lit up like lanterns, their forms dissolving into embers that drifted upward like fireflies. The tall creature staggered forward, its limbs twisting as flames devoured it. It reached a hand toward the girls, not in anger, but in gratitude, before collapsing into ash. The whispers softened, then faded, then stopped entirely. Silence swept over the land, a silence that felt clean, free. Amara sank to her knees. Nia fell beside her, sobbing into her shoulder. Behind them, Corbin's screams had already gone quiet. The estate burned until dawn. When the sun rose, the plantation was gone. Just scorched earth, blackened cane, ashes swirling like snow. Amara and Nia stood at the edge of the ruin, holding each other for warmth. "We survived," Nia whispered. Amara nodded. "We did more than survive. We ended it." The wind carried away the last of the ash. A voice soft and warm brushed their ears. "Thank you, daughters." Then nothing. Amara took Nia's hand. For the first time, she said quietly, we can choose where to go. Nia nodded. And together, the two girls, once worth only a single dollar, walked away from the cursed land that had tried to claim them. They did not look back. They did not need to. The dead had been freed, and the living had returned to themselves. And so, the fields finally burned, the dead were freed, and the two girls who were once worth only a single dollar walked away with their souls intact. If you made it this far into the darkness, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and share this story with someone who loves horror as much as you do. Until the next nightmare, stay safe, stay alert, and don't listen when the fields whisper your name.